coaches, number 2, Kyle O'Quinn. Starting at point.
And welcome everyone to another presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. Along with Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. Here in Orlando, it's interconference basketball as the Magic look to defend home court at the Amway Center. This is their first chance this season playing the Timberwolves. Home court advantage played a part in last year's season series. Each team took their home game in a 1-1 split.
Yeah, they faced each other twice last season, and they split those 2 games in what really wasn't a season to remember for either team.
And checking out Minnesota's opening lineup. Rubio and Martin manning the backcourt. Pekovic is out there with Garnett, and it's Wiggins in at the 3, the small forward. Now here's Wiggins. Turned in an outstanding game against Brooklyn. And so it looks like the Timberwolves will retain possession here. Steve referenced the series between these teams a year ago, and Clark, it's a good thing they matched up well against each other because they didn't match up well with too many other teams.
Well, that's exactly right, Kevin. I mean, we don't mean to make light of it, but the reality is neither one of them gave opponents very much resistance or too many problems. It was really a down year for both teams.
Tough seasons, you're right.
A theme that has unfortunately come up for this Orlando franchise is their inability to keep a franchise talent for long. Of course, you think both about Shaq and Dwight Howard and their exits.
Now here's Payton. He kicks to O'Quinn. Back to Payton. Orlando moving the ball around. From deep. The rebound by Garnett. And about Orlando and their stars, is it better, Clark, to have had stars and lost them, or to never have had stars at all on your team?
Well, it's a different kind of heartache, that's for sure. I think you'd rather have them and lose them than not to have them at all. But Orlando has seen a lot of success for how long they've been a franchise. They'd like to be able, though, looking ahead, to keep that next star that's wearing a Magic uniform right now.
Here's Wiggins. That's in, coming off an assist from Rubio.
A nice piece of work there. Find a little space and pull the trigger.
And here is Payton. Stolen by Rubio. Here's Wiggins, and that basket is going to count. Goaltending, the official call.
He got there late, but you do have to like the aggressiveness to go after the block. But that one's going to count.
The Orlando Magic coming to this one following a loss to Philadelphia.
Yeah, and given how they performed offensively that day, guys, they really had no chance.
Yeah, and the frustration just mounted. You could see it as they continued to come up empty. And by the end, they were really just happy to get out of there and have the game be over.
Now, here's Rubio. 11 points for him in that last game against the Nets in Brooklyn.
And again, a few more points added to the lead. They might be ready to pull away here.
I wouldn't be surprised, Steve. As well as they've got it working right now, that could be the case.
Evan Fournier's checked in for Victor Oladipo. And let's get your guys' take now on the hustle stats for Minnesota.
Well, they're trying to play fast and trying to put the defense on their heels.
The other thing that's helped them early tonight are the points they've been able to convert off turnovers.
Here's Fry. He's coming off a 10-point game against the 76ers in Philadelphia. Down to 5 on the shot clock. It's stolen by Martin. And here we go. Fast break. Wiggins has got it. No luck. Good D by Payton.
Well defended. And he's not someone who responds well to that kind of defensive pressure.
Pass to O'Quinn. To the paint. Here's Fournier. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
Evan Fournier out of France struggled with his shot early last season, but he rallied somewhat down the stretch. Still very young with an impressive skill set. He's definitely a player to watch.
And you talk about Fournier's skill level. Pretty crafty penetrating and finishing around the rim. And he's also been a good three-point shooter in the NBA from day one.
Gorgie Dangs checked in for Kevin Garnett. Rubio outside. Here's Wiggins. Almost, but it rolls out. And Steve, Fournier doesn't separate himself with his athleticism. but he can be elusive.
Well, he understands hesitation and using angles to get inside. I think that speaks to his ball handling and offensive instincts. You know, he can be very fun to watch.
And it's good. Pekovic has got his first points of the game.
Well, I tell you what, the post play has been rock solid right off the bat.
Well, that's the key to basketball. Get the ball inside into the paint, either with a pass or with penetration.
Now here's Payton. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. And Fry kicks to Payton. Passes it to Fournier. Launches a three. Can't get it to go. And Minnesota now the other way. They're coming off that win against the Nets.
And one way to nullify a home court advantage, like they did that night, Kevin, light it up from the three-point line. Nothing is more demoralizing to a home crowd.
Steve, you're exactly right. I mean, that was the great equalizer. Their perimeter play definitely took them over the top.
Here's Payton, following the basket by Andrew Wiggins. Here's O'Quinn. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
Kyle O'Quinn in his 3rd season out of Norfolk State, 6'10", but with a 7'5" wingspan and the strength to hold his own at the pivot. He has shown some promise for a player taken in the 2nd round.
And he makes the first. And O'Quinn, a relatively ground-bound game. Not a big-time athlete.
Yeah, and very foul-prone defensively, in part because of that lack of athleticism. But he has shown the ability to knock down the mid-range jump shot. He's a hard worker, a quality young man, good rebounder and shot blocker. I think he's got a chance to be one of those guys that plays a long time and makes a nice contribution. Boy, they've gone on this run, and ball movement has been a big key.
Yeah, they have the defense on the run right now because every pass seems to have a purpose. They're getting great movement, great spacing, and they're really lining them up defensively.
Here's Gordon, following the bucket by the Timberwolves. Fournier, and that one hits back iron.
Ill-advised shot selection right there, Clark.
It really was. I mean, very low percentage shot there. An excellent display of passing out there, fellas. I mean, 8 of their last 10 points have been assisted on.
Well, they continue to find the open man and play unselfishly. This is true team basketball we're seeing.
The Magic making a switch here. Vucevic is checked in. The Magic trail by 11. 1:07 left here in the opening quarter. Gordon with the screen for Gordon. Feeds it to Gordon. Shoots from 12, and he gets the jumper to drop. Timberwolves leading by 9. Neal passes to Wiggins, and the layup's good off the glass. Wiggins has got 12 in the game.
Really not hard to see why they're giving up points on this run. I mean, they've just given them too many looks inside.
Yeah, I mean, they're just getting pounded in there. The defense not offering much resistance. They've got to force the ball back out to the perimeter.
They really can't allow him too many open looks like that. I mean, that's just inviting trouble.
Levine kicks to Neal. Three-pointer. And he gets it to go. Neal's got his 2nd bucket of the night.
And the story of this game in the early stages is just how well they've been shooting the ball.
Steve, their percentage from the floor is really impressive up to this point.
6 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. Ridnour dishes to Fournier. Now the feed to Vucevic. Takes the 12-footer and hits. Vucevic has got his first points of the night.
Boy, he really used his height there.
He sure did, Steve. I mean, a nice touch on that shot.
Chang, the pass to Wiggins. No good with the layup.
Not too much congestion in the lane. I think he could have gotten a better shot that time, no question.
The NBA season.
Welcome back, everyone. A lopsided first quarter in the books already as we start the 2nd quarter. And before we move on, what do you guys think about what we've seen so far from the Timberwolves?
So difficult to get a shot off against this defense. They are really playing hard.
Yeah, they're playing hard, and they pride themselves on making it tough for their opponents.
And a chance here presented by Gatorade to see who's on the floor, all fueled up and ready to go for the start of the 2nd quarter. So on the floor for Orlando. At the 2 and 3, it's Oladipo and Tobias Harris. Gordon and Vucevic, the big men inside. And it's Ridnour in at point guard. Well, the Wolves didn't have a hard time scoring against any team. They took it to another level. It seemed always against the East.
Well, every time they played out of conference, it seemed like an up and down wild affair, and they were pretty good in those kind of games.
Now let's send it to Doris from the sideline.
Well, Kevin, for some, Aaron Gordon is seen as a tweener, and for Gordon, it isn't going to faze him. He said, obviously you have to play a position in the NBA, but I'm going to do a little bit of everything. Post up, hit jumpers, go by people. I'm going to do it all. I'm confident that I can play both the 3 and the 4. He has the skills to pull it off, Kevin.
And he does. Thank you, Doris. Minnesota with the ball, following the bucket by Orlando. That is good. Neal's got 11 points.
As you said, with the Wolves, third in the league when it came to scoring against the East, but they were also near the bottom in points allowed.
Now a timeout called by Orlando.
The Wolves did fare well against the East, but if they were able to play just a little better at the defensive end of the floor, I think they could have had a pretty strong out-of-conference record.
Catching up on the changes for Orlando, Kyle O'Quinn comes in for Nikola Vucevic, and it's Payton in for Luke Ridnour. Timberwolves also changing it up. Nikola Pekovic is checked in for Jack. Garnett comes in for Payne, and Ricky Rubio subbed in for Levine. Now here's Gordon. Orlando moving the ball around. O'Quinn can't hit. Here's Martin, and the layup is good. Martin's got 4 points now in the quarter.
Well, we've seen that more than a few times, an easy bucket in the lane.
Yeah, the interior defense simply has been lifeless.
And Oladipo kicks to O'Quinn. Offensive rebound. And it's Gordon missing. Now the Timberwolves with it. A big stretch here going 10-2. And that is good. Neal's got 13.
Their prowess inside has been tremendous, guys. I mean, it's been no contest down on the low block.
And until they prove they can stop them, I mean, they ought to continue to pound it in low.
Now here's Oladipo. Back to Payton. The dish now to O'Quinn. Excellent D there from Garnett.
I like the work there, contesting that shot that looked like it was going to be easy, but they forced the miss.
You know what? He got it in close, but couldn't finish in traffic.
Kevin Martin, a great fit in the Timberwolves offense, always moving off the ball, big-time scorer, and a guy who consistently gets to the foul line as well.
Time called here. The Magic decide to talk it over.
Well, Nikola Pekovic, a battering ram style of play, but really soft hands for a big guy. I think that combination makes him one of the most effective inside scorers in the league.
Channing Frye's checked in for Gordon. And it's Harris off the drive.
Yeah, he got whacked. Shouldn't be much debate on that one.
Yeah, that was as straightforward as it gets, guys.
This is his first free throw of the game. And he knocks down the first one. And so he hits both. Here's Rubio. No scoring yet from him, but that's likely to change. And it's Pekovic missing. You know, Stephen, for Pekovic, he's not the NBA leader in points in the paint every season. He's not far off. A great post-up score. Something you see less and less of nowadays.
And even off the ball, great offensive rebounder and finisher. He punishes you on the inside.
Here's Rubio. Outside Martin. And a little under 3.5 minutes elapsed in the second quarter of play.
Boy, we don't see that too often. No defender on him, and he just planks the open jumper.
And slam dunk by Harris.
You know, regardless of who starts the break, it seems like he's usually the one to finish it.
And that's because of how well he attacks the rim on the dead run.
Here's Neal. He's coming off a 13-point game against the Nets in Brooklyn.
And no question, you look at his assist totals. I mean, they tell you what a nice job he was doing of really spreading that ball around.
And guys, they continue to put a lot of pressure on the interior defenders with the way they work down low.
Well, it's become one of the stories of the first half, Clark, just piling up points in the paint.
Now here's Payton. Harris a screen on Rubio.